Frank uses a knife to cut his dog tags off his neck. He also slashes the Marine tattoo while his teammates laugh at him. They start mocking him for being weak, causing Frank to have a breakdown. At that moment, a new hallucination shows him his best friend Curtis, a former Navy corpsman who became the leader of a therapy group after losing part of his left leg in combat. Curtis gently tells Frank that he still can count on him, so Frank cries and admits he needs help. Deciding to honor Curtis' care for him, Frank puts away all his Punisher gear in a bag and locks it up. This bag is then put away in a locker, which he covers with a Marine flag. When Frank leaves his apartment, Isaiah and his mother are shocked to see him since they thought he never went out. Meanwhile, at Dre's shop, Dennis is losing his mind while waiting for his coffee, so Dre sends him to a corner. On TV, the news talks about the Ganucci family slaughter and shows pictures of Frank as the culprit. The police are looking for him, but nobody knows where he is. Charlie looks at the picture and notices that Frank is in line at the shop. When he looks at her, she just waves before looking away. Dennis keeps getting chaotic and starts pounding the counter, so Dre kicks him out. Frank tries to pay for his coffee, but Dre lets him have it for free as an apology for the commotion. Frank drops the cash anyway before leaving. Outside, a man called Barracuda stares at him from his car before driving off. Then Frank walks through the streets while ignoring the chaos around him. Dennis keeps yelling about conspiracies, Mickey's gang keeps attacking people, and fights break out around every corner. A police car soon arrives, but they immediately leave when the criminals attack it. The car is set on fire while some men yell at Frank, telling him to leave. Gunshots and screams cause Frank to have flashbacks of his time in war zones, so he hears explosions and his teammates' voices in his head. As he walks, he notices a car slowing down next to him before leaving. Eventually Frank reaches the cemetery, where he visits his family's graves. He leaves them the key to his arsenal and cries as he talks to them, telling stories of what his children were like as babies. Frank admits he doesn't know what else to do, so he raises his gun and gets ready to self-delete. Memories of his wife and kids flood his mind, begging him to spend time with them. This is soon replaced by horror when his kids start bleeding and his wife yells at him for not being around that night. As the memory of their murder resurfaces, Frank almost pulls the trigger, but he stops because a hallucination of his daughter Lisa appears in front of him. Lisa waves at him with a smile and Frank tries to apologize to her, but she disappears. Frank yells in frustration and has another breakdown. Back in town, Frank is walking down the street while the Curtis hallucination makes some dark jokes about the situation. He asks Frank what his purpose is before he disappears. The next hallucination is Frank himself wearing the Punisher gear, and the real Frank stares at him in shock before leaving. When he arrives at his apartment building, he is startled by Barracuda and a woman in a wheelchair. She begs Frank to hear her out and explains that her whole family was murdered, describing the feeling in a way that really reminds Frank of his own tragedy. However, things take a dark turn when she starts telling the story. Her husband was shot by the pool while hanging out with naughty workers. Her oldest son was a cop and got his neck slashed while he was getting busy with a woman. Her middle son and his guard were shot outside the family restaurant. Her youngest son